going to be painting a golden eagle. We're going to start with its beak using the gold paint, and we're going to be painting out onto its chest and the rest of its body. And then we are going to paint its tail, and its tail is fanning out like this. Then we are going to paint the wing bones, the bones and flesh that are under the wings. Later on, we will cover it with feathers. We put the feathers on the tip, which actually point outwards, and later on, we will show the feathers that are pointing downwards. But for now, we are going to be painting the shape that we will follow for that later, so that we have some guidelines. So just paint the whole shape of the bird with golden paint. Then after you clean your brush, you're going to go in with vermilion this time and showing the feathers that are pointing down, and as it goes out into the tips of the wings, then they start pointing out. Then you can start adding this vermilion onto the wing bones as well, and the other side as well on the feathers. So again, the feathers are pointing down, and as it goes out, it points outwards. So you're also going to be adding some carmine red and connecting to the flesh up here. This will add some sort of a depth to it, like a shadow. And then you're going to be adding this color as well to its face and chest, because it's slightly darker, and to its tail. Then we are going to connect it to the body and leaving 2 spots where the claws will be. The claws are hiding when it's in flight. And to define the beak and the rest of the shape, we are going to add some ultramarine blue and blending it around the head, the beak, and the chest, a little bit towards the wings, and on its belly for a shadow, and the tail feathers as well. You're also going to use it sideways, our brush sideways, to define the feathers a little better, following the direction that the feathers go. You will need to show the feathers and the direction they are going. Then we are lastly going to use it on the outer feathers that point out to define them well. Now I'm adding some water to wet the borders of this shape so that I can go through it with some blue paint, either Prussian or ultramarine here. But what we are trying to do is to define its shape by going very close to the outline of the bird without going over it. We're going as close as possible to the lines, but leaving a small gap in between. You're going to do the same here under. As you can see on my paper, the paint kind of bled through, and so I'm trying to paint over those parts that I did not intend to be there. And I'm using this as a chance to also add some glow by adding a little bit of a gap, by leaving a gap between what I'm painting and the outline of the bird. And I'm doing that on both sides. And before the face of the bird, I left a cloud, as you can see on the top right corner. I'm leaving a cloud there empty, and I just blended the edges. So I'm painting all around, and then below its tail, I am painting some shapes of 2 mountains with my blue paint, first outlining it, and then I fill it in and try to blend the lines that I put there. And I'm filling in the space. I'm going in with my Prussian blue and shading the underside of the mountains. And then I also want to soften the tip of this mountain, make it a little more round using the Prussian blue, and then I blend the lines towards the sky, and I fill in the gap between the tail and the mountains, and I try to blend it so that the lines are not so separate from the shape. So here I'm still blending. Don't be afraid to build up, even if the sky darkens a little bit. The mountain behind is a little darker here. I'm leaving the tops white because I want to show some ice on top of the mountain because it's colder. I'm trying to blend the outer corners, the outer sides of the outline of the bird. And then I'm adding a lemon yellow on the top right here where the sun would be, and it's going towards the sun. The bird is going towards the sun. And I'm adding the same color onto the mountains to make the shading part more green. That is our completed painting for today.